What's up, fight fans? Welcome to another edition of Split Decision MMA, your 209 podcast, straight from SinCal Studios here in Modesto.
Breaking the studio
stuff down.
He's messing it up. Getting all crazy on the microphone.
Crazy on a Friday. What? I don't even know what I'm supposed to adjust over here. You know me.
No, it's this.
This thing?
This thing right here.
What's this? What about this one? No? This one spins. What does this one do?
Oh, that's your.
Is this one? Look at hands.
There you go.
I'm not supposed to touch things.
Don't. I don't know why you touch stuff. And somehow you've worked yourself out of the screen.
I know. I'm all the way over here now.
I don't know what you.
It's because I was leaning. We're back. We're good. Everything's good. Anyway, welcome to another edition of Split Decision, your weekly MMA podcast.
Quit messaging us. You're putting a ringtone on our screen.
This is gonna be a good show.
This is gonna be a great show.
Be a good show. Another Friday.
We're so professional.
Another week of MMA news, rumors, forum readings, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Recapping fights, previewing fights. Let's read some stories.
Okay.
Let's go to some headlines here. Some headlines. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Big announcement. Retirement announcement hits MMA this week. Alan Crowder has decided to retire. Alan Crowder, if you remember him, he went 1-2 inside the UFC.
1 and 2.
1 and 2
on the ones and twos.
Former UFC heavyweight says that he is 30 years old, has lost his last 3 fights, ending in concussions. He said, business is going well. The money is not where I had hoped, but I made it to the UFC, and that's okay. But the reason why he's retiring is he has memory problems. So he is saying that it wasn't worth it. He's like, I want to be able to watch my little girl grow up. I'm having memory loss more and more lately, and talking to the doctor, finding out what's happening. I'll be making coffee, and then I put phenanine in there to avoid the crash. And that's just not good. He's like, and I can't remember why I was taking the phenanine out of the cupboard or taking the cup of coffee off the Keurig. It's definitely not good. So, Alan Crowder has decided to retire, step away from MMA. How do you feel about this?
I mean, you can't. What do you?
Well, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing.
Yeah, if the guy said if that's what he's feeling, and that's what he's feeling. 30, I mean,
having those memory loss issues,
man,
it's something that we need to dive further into and do more studies on this sport. Or is this stuff that we already know?
It's stuff that we already know. I mean, this happens this is happening. We just had a guy in college football that just retired due to concussions. Mm-hmm. I think he was a tight end, maybe a junior in college football. Same thing. Too many concussions, too much head damage. I think in the Nitro Circus, I think we've had guys.
A couple guys, yep.
Yeah, just just hang it up. I'm not doing the big tricks anymore.
Right,
you know,
right.
I'll ride the soft ramps. I mean, it's real.
It's a real thing.
Head damage and head trauma is real.
So there is another retirement we do need to talk about that probably made bigger headlines. But,
really?
Ben Askren, the funky one.
Anybody famous?
Has decided to retire from mixed martial arts. Ben Askren, obviously we talked about him quite a bit on the show. We talked about, the hype was real. He had a big career with ONE and Bellator and made his way over to the UFC. A bunch of the newer UFC fans didn't really understand why he was so hyped. And didn't understand why he was still getting the fights he was getting.
Would you say casuals? The casuals?
I wouldn't say all casuals.
Okay.
I'd say there's some hardcore UFC fans that did not like him coming over as well. But, he has decided to hang him up. He went on, I believe, Ariel Helwani's show and talked about that he has hip issues. And he's actually going to have a hip replacement surgery.
He seems young for that.
Well, he had a long wrestling career, man. I gotta believe that has something to do with it.
But I mean, most physicians won't do it till a certain age because they only last 10 to 15 years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's in his 40s?
I think he's in his late 30s. I'd have to double check on Mr. Ben Askren. Anyway, he's saying he's been having hip problems and finally had a discussion with my doctor. I got an MRI before my last fight, and I do need a hip replacement. So that's it for me. I've been thinking about it a lot this week. And really, I've just been filled with gratitude at how great of a career I've been able to have, even though the end did not turn out to go my way. So he is now stepping away from. He says, when I came back, I was having hip issues for 3 to 5 years, somewhere in there. And when I came back and started training in December, it seemed to get really bad. I visited my doctor. Got an x-ray, and I have PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma shot. It helped significantly with the pain, but not end the mobility at all.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering about, that and stem cell, because I've heard that they've been able to shoot stem cell into something like that.
Mm-hmm. So he said it helped with the pain, but didn't help with the mobility. So he is stepping away. He said, well, he doesn't walk away from the sport in the way he wanted. He does retire with a 19-2, 1 no contest, 2 separate championship reigns in Bellator and ONE. And that's pretty good.
So, and I don't know if you would know, if anybody else knows, maybe chime in. So when you do a hip replacement, do you not need the tendons and all that anymore?
I have no idea.
because the tendons are what keep the bones and everything still connected. So if they put a replacement in there, you don't need to have all that anymore. Just the muscle.
I have no clue.
All right.
Never had a hip replacement.
Don't even step out there, huh?
What do I
Come
know
on,
about being
man.
a doctor?
You bullshit about a lot of stuff.
No, I usually try to do a little bit of research.
Okay.
And
right.
I know nothing about hip replacement surgery.
I bullshit about a lot of stuff. Not a credible source, though.
Also, Luke Rockhold taking a step back, putting his career on hold, if you will. A Rockhold.
He's put himself... The elf is back on the shelf.
The elf is back on the shelf. The Rockhold is back on hold.
Yeah.
He has said that his head is content where he's at right now. He's kind of pausing his fight career. He says, I've done a lot in the sport.
Well,
I'm not trying to be a headline maker. I'm not trying to say I'm going to retire and then I want to come back. I just don't close doors on things in life. And right now, I'm happy not fighting. It feels good to be focused on other things.
He's selling what?
Such being
Brute by Fabergé or something?
Polo, Ralph Lauren.
Okay, Polo.
Come on, man. He's the face of the brand there.
Okay.
He says, it takes a lot out of you. I've done it. I've been at the top of the game. I just don't have the same passion and hunger for it at this point. I'm excited to go out in other realms.
This happens when
grappling matches.
Happens when you get your ass beat a couple times.
Grappling matches have been entertained. He's also, he likes to surf. He likes to do all these other things. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Rockhold.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, if I was built like him, that's what I would do. Take pictures of me with my shirt off and then walk on the beach.
He said he even jumped into a rodeo in Montana where he took second place.
I would not be in a rodeo.
And he said the Montana whiskey had something to do with the decision of doing the rodeo.
Yeah. But I mean, what else is new? What's the worst thing that can happen? He gets his ass beat.
Yeah.
By a bull.
Well, he was steer wrangling too. It wasn't just rodeo riding. He was wrestling.
Yeah, steer wrangling's not that big a deal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you take second place or first place?
No, I lost.
You didn't place.
I lost.
So it's not that bad.
It's not. The bull riding's way worse.
Bull riding? Oh, yeah. That to me seems a little scary.
Because even if you win, you lose. Just the jarring. Just the jarring alone.
A little going into that scary thing. Titan FC champion. Former champion Rudson Caliocan quite possibly is done forever due to
can we now go to same day weigh-ins?
Due to a brutal weight cut that caused him to have a stroke, and now he is paralyzed in the left side of his body.
Oh my goodness, Mike Gennari's watching us live. I don't think we've ever been blessed by this man watching us live before.
Love you, Mike.
And he's totally critiquing the audio right now. He's like, you guys sound like shit.
26-year-old passed out shortly after losing a unanimous decision at Future MMA 9, October 19th. He had went to the hospital, diagnosed with a brainstem ischemic stroke caused by blood clots forming on his arteries in his neck.
What up, Bill? Matt?
He had cut 13 and almost a half pounds leading up to the fight. They said that he did not look normal. Everything did not look good.
So what percentage does that work out to in his weight class? Is that over 15%? 13
pounds?
to be. It has to be, right?
13 pounds? Dude, that's a lot of weight.
California, send your ass packing. CSAC now, right?
Yeah. So he said, with the approval of Titan FC, I took a fight last week in Sao Paulo. Unfortunately, I suffered a hemorrhage in my brainstem. It's not clear whether or not I'll be able to fight again. Because of this, I decided to vacate my championship out of fairness to the division. Hopefully I can get back and reconquer the division.
Oh shit, Mike said so he's not a southpaw? That's
so yeah, he must concentrate on his health. So he is completely, I mean, this is crazy. This is how many more things like this?
It's called bullfighter, Matt.
How many more things do we have to see?
No, that's what I'm saying. And more and more people I talk to, they're into it too. I maybe we start hashtag same day weigh-ins.
Every time we see one of these things,
yeah.
Same day weigh-ins.
Yeah. Did Joe Rogan talk about this at all this week? I'm surprised. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't.
I don't know.
It should be on everybody's radar, man. This is horrible. I mean, just the fact that Hayden Burrell lost a fight to a bathtub.
He fell.
Okay, it doesn't matter. What about Cyborg? Cyborg had a brutal.
Yeah,
went into shock. Jezerjack, brutal. Went into shock.
Had a lot of fights.
Aspen Ladd. You know,
there are a lot of fights that have had submissions.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, we could go into the story that is a little lighter, but still kind of hurts me in the heart a little bit. Ross Pearson came out of retirement to have an MMA bout after he had a great boxing.
TT in the house.
He had a great boxing bout, but then he came out of retirement to fight Davey Gallen. Now, Davey Gallen isn't no slouch, or isn't a slouch. He's 18-7. He's been around for quite some time. I believe this was going to be, though, pretty much one of his biggest fights. He's fought a lot on local cards.
Right.
But he fights Ross Pearson, former UFC fighter, at MTK MMA Probellum. And he wins in a pretty amazing fashion.
Oh, I mean, just
with the rolling thunder kick.
Yeah, if you've never heard of Gallon before now,
you have.
You have now. He's been everywhere now.
Yeah, this kick went viral. The rolling thunder kick is one of those
fuck you, Mike.
Rolling somersault kicks, like you kind of throw. I believe Harold Hackney threw it in one of the first UFCs against an opponent. He never landed it, of course. I know Brian Ebersol would always try to throw this kick in at least every one of his matches. At some point, he would throw it just for fun. He knocked out a guy one time with it, and in fact, the commission almost refused to give him the win because they thought it was a staged fight, because no one should ever win this way. However, Davey Gallon knocks out Ross Pearson. It was basically a somersault where the leg goes and hits the head, and he hit Pearson right on the jaw, knocked him out.
Wasn't there a guy who did
crazy?
Wasn't there a guy who fell down and did rolling thunder all the way to the side?
He did it, and then he tried to do it again, and he tried to do it again.
And then everybody put, this is what happens when you button mash, try to fight with button mashing.
Yeah. So if you have not seen this, make sure you check this out. Grabica Hitman over there on Twitter does some of the best coverage with GIFs and videos that are from a wide range of MMA. Gets the rolling thunder kick round 3. Wow. That's all I can say. You haven't seen it, look it up. David Gallon, Rolling Thunder. Also making headlines this week, we have Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship has signed their biggest signee ever.
Yeah, but I mean, this is how he'd fight. Like, watch. Put your arm around me, okay? And then put your arm out. So you're totally safe in the middle.
Yes.
That's all you got.
Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship has signed the Iranian Hulk, Sahad Gaharbarbi. Will make his debut next year. He is 6'2", 390. Look this guy up.
Can't wipe his own ass.
I'm sure you could put this picture up in the post. Iranian Hulk is a ginormous man. Of course, Tim Sylvia immediately threw his name into there and threw his hat into the ring and says that he will be the guy. He wants the contract.
Because he's almost as big as him right now.
He's at least 300 pounds. We know that he's 300 pounds. He hasn't made 265 and I don't know how long. But he's got the long arms.
But I'm still more...
The Maniac.
Yeah. I'm still more scared of Tim Sylvia than I am the Iranian Hulk.
Also, Dave Feldman put the statement, said this guy's going to make Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships debut in early 2020. We're going to do a show called USA versus Iran World War III.
It's going to be the first time that 2 doors open on the cage so they can let... Because either that or he's going to have to walk in
sideways, man. It just comes in. I heard somewhere that if you walk sideways, bears won't think that you're aggressive. So maybe...
Wait a minute. Did you find this out in your San Francisco pub crawl?
No.
Because that's a whole different thing.
That's a different bear.
This is
legit. This was from a national park agency on Facebook. They wrote that if you get approached by a bear, if you walk sideways, keep your eyes on the bear. They find that non-threatening.
It probably freaks them out. Could you imagine the bear looks at you?
It also says,
how'd you do that?
It also says make animal sounds, make human sounds so that the bear will recognize you as a human.
Hey, you bear.
Hey, bear. I'm walking sideways so that you don't attack me. So Tim Sylvia, when he walks into the ring sideways because he can't get through the door, it's because he's non-aggressive.
Oh, hey, good call. So this is back. Justin Simmons still talking about the Rolling Thunder. We get some of this stuff late, but he's like, can you use that kick on an Indian reservation?
Oh, I gotta believe you can.
Yeah, you just have to call it something else. Like,
and then of course the big news,
something I don't know.
Big news this week made the internet explode. Floyd Mayweather Jr. had said that he is done with boxing because of health concerns and recent deaths in the sport. But then he was at basically, what was he at? He was at a Boston Celtics game sitting next to Dana White, and they both tweeted pretty much at the same time where he says that I'm coming out of retirement 2020. Dana White retweeted it. They made this whole big hoopla over it. rumors are that he is going to be working with Dana White, I believe, with Zuffa Boxing.
So we're actually gonna see the rollout of Zuffa Boxing?
I don't know, because
on my end,
details.
There's
been zero details from anybody. However,
exactly on my end that I did have.
First post was
everything's dried up.
The first post was Mayweather went on Instagram, took a picture of him and Dana White, and said working together again to bring the world another spectacular event 2020.
Okay,
and then immediately after that, put a picture of himself. Said coming out of retirement 2020. Nobody knows what any of this means.
Fire up the cash printing machine.
And
that's
they
what it means.
have not made any they have not made any comments other than the two posts. They have not talked to ESPN. They won't talk to the UFC. Nobody's talking. They just posted these two, and then they both retweeted them both. You know what I mean? To make sure that it kept spinning.
Yeah.
Circle. Is it like you like your own post?
Yeah, we call this circle. What's that? So if we want to get a story going, we share our own story and then cite our own story on somebody else's story and then cite their story about our story
on their story. Yeah,
yeah.
And that means we're in a partnership, right?
Yeah.
We've reached an agreement. We're a partner.
We're a partner.
We're partners.
You want to partner up?
Anybody want to partner up? We got this.
Thanks, Marka. I'd like to thank Marka. Thank you, Marka.
Moving on from there, let's recap some fights. We had UFC Sao Paulo, UFC Blachowicz versus Jacare, UFC Fight Night 164, UFC on ESPN Plus 22 was last weekend. This was on ESPN Plus, which I now have. Thanks, Disney.
I watched everything in highlights.
Everything in highlights, huh?
Yep. I don't think I watched a full fight of everything.
Well, on the main card, we had Wellington Sherman gets the win over Marcus Perez. Andre Munoz gets the win over Antonio Arroyo. The only knockout on the main card, finish on the main card, you have Charles Oliveira gets the win over Jared Gordon with a KO.
I knew he would.
Shogun and Paul Craig go to a split draw.
So me or Tibera weren't wrong.
Correct.
Right.
I don't think I was wrong either.
No.
Because it was a split draw.
Right. No, but I'm just saying.
Both guys want to run it back. I don't know if this is necessary. Does this count as one of Shogun's last two fights?
It could. I don't know.
I don't know what goes on there. And then, of course, Jan Blachowicz gets the win over Jacare Souza in a split decision. Fans were not happy with the split decision, number one. Fans were not happy with the fight, number two. It was very underwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah,
it was not exciting at all.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem when we've had weeks and weeks of just fucking barn burners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point you're gonna get the dud.
We do. The thing is, you're gonna get so many fights going on now.
But that's not the thing.
This is a weird week where there actually isn't a UFC card. We do have some fights to cover, but there's not a UFC card this week.
Right.
But I mean, they have so many fighters and so many events going on that eventually they're not all going to be fantastic. It's not going to be back in the early days where every card was stacked. You know what I mean? We're going to have good fights. But every once in a while, you're going to get something that's like this. It could be like UFC, what was that, 65, UFC 76? It was called Knockout. And not a single fucking knockout happened on the event. I think that's when they stopped naming them.
Yeah. It's like, we're gooching ourselves, bro.
Can't do this.
Totally gooching
Can't do this. We also have...
What does Joe Buddha say? What Joe Buddha?
We got it. We're going to set up the Nate Buddha here in a
Nate
little while.
Buddha.
Little joint next to him.
Incense, my friend. Incense.
Offering up some good bud. Anyway, we have Bellator going on this weekend.
We offer you the sticky icky.
We have Bellator. We have Combat Fresno this weekend, which our friend, the Mean Philippine, sorry. I know he doesn't want to be called
Don't use it. He don't like it.
I can't use it. I'm sorry.
It's the 90% white guy. Mike, the 90% white guy, Tubera.
Can we give him a nickname?
Yogi. I was thinking about it. Mike, Yogi, Tubera. He's probably not going to like that one either.
He's probably not going to like that one either.
Hey, boo-boo. Knock you out. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably
Mike's going to kick my ass now.
Yeah. I'm not going to feel bad for you.
Yeah. You're not? Will you at least stop it?
At what point?
The way I figured it out.
When you're dead, right? Because that's how you want fights to be stopped. When one guy's dead.
No. I want to like Dazed and Confused. I fight, he fights. Everybody pulls him off of me.
So if you are in the local 209 area, you go down to Fresno on Saturday. Make sure you check out that at the Save Mart Center, Combate Americanas. I believe this is also going to be on Univision, which you can check out live. And again, our good friend Mike Tubera is going to be on that card.
Univision you can get with a coat hanger and any TV antenna. Univision, I swear, you can
It's
get
on everything.
It's on everything.
It's on everything, yeah. We also have Bellator London going on. This is Bellator London 2, MVP versus Malilio. Main card we could talk about, Fabian Edwards going against Michael Shipman, Terry Brazier going up against Soren Bach, and of course Michael Venom Page going up against Giovanni Malilio. Now this guy is filling in for Derek Anderson, who had to pull out due to an injury. Are we going back to... there was an article out recently that I read, and I was very much in agreement with this. I don't understand, but I kind of do, Bellator's whole marketing thing with MVP. He's from the UK, so they definitely want to put him in Europe a lot.
I get it.
I get that. But
don't you want to see your best fighter against the best fighters?
he did. He had some good fights. I mean, if we look at Michael Venom Page's record, he had some good fights on his upcoming. You know, when he did that crazy knockout over Cyborg, cracked his skull. It was pretty crazy. It was a good way to introduce him to a lot of new fans, even though he'd been fighting Bellator for a little bit. I mean, he had a great punch over Ricky Rainey, the Rudy Bears. You know, he was in his early career, he was having some great fights. And then we started looking at his record after that. It seemed like he was fighting a lot of cans. And just padding his record. When he fought top competition like Paul Daly, he got that unanimous decision, which was pretty bad. He played it
and when
really
we say
safe.
cans,
he squeaked out that decision. And then you go up against a pretty good fighter, obviously, because he won the welterweight Grand Prix. You have Douglas Lima. He got knocked the fuck out.
Right.
And now he immediately went and fought Richard Kiley, and now we're going to go up against Gianni Malilio. Now, Gianni Malilio is no slouch.
Right, and when we say can, I don't mean it detrimental to the fighter.
He's 13-4.
I'm just saying that you haven't worked up to the class that Michael Venom Page should be fighting right now.
Correct. Yeah, he's not fighting the top elites at the Bellator welterweight. They're putting him up against a lot of local fighters and a lot of big names. Now, I'm hoping, again, every time I see Michael Venom Page fight, I'm hoping that he loses because I don't like his attitude.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Because we can't take anything away from anybody who's going to step in the ring.
Yeah, because I've never done it.
Yeah. And I'll just say that straight out. We might say things and it may come across as something else.
Disrespectful.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're stepping in the cage, man,
hats off to you.
Hats off to you.
This is why we watch the sport, so that you can do it and I can watch it.
Right. But there's a level that he's at and he should be fighting.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys aren't at the same level. And
yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening with this. But anyway, Michael Venom Page going up against Giovanni Malilio. And I think that's about it. There was one event that happened. I can bring it up, but since the time change, it's already a fight that's gone down. Make sure you check out Combate Fresno. Support our local
Combate
fighters.
Fresno. Check it out.
Support our local
Tomorrow
fighters.
at 7 o'clock, Fresno.
There will be no show next week because it's the day after Thanksgiving, and Black Friday is not fun to drive on.
Yeah. Plus, yeah. I may be in an airport.
You may be in an airport. That'd be a weird show. I mean, I've called in before, but
I don't know.
I don't know how to work any of this, so definitely not gonna happen.
My wife scheduled us to fly out on Wednesday, which is the most horrible day.
Oh yeah, it's the most traveled day of the year.
Yeah.
Have fun, buddy.
Yeah, and the storm's rolling in.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Have fun.
It's gonna be great. And everybody knows I don't love to fly.
We will see you December 6th. After Thanksgiving, the following week, we'll have a lot to cover and a lot to talk about. So you guys have yourselves a good night, good holiday. We'll see you at the fight.
Pay attention to Instagram.